Right, what have I got today? Well, it is another Knipex bush. Quite a nice one. I was able to get hold of this thanks to a subscriber whose name I won't mention, but this was a gift, so thank you very much to them. Now it's the Knipex, well, Knipex is the proper pronunciation, and if you were going to go and look this up, I mean, I'll put a link down below. It won't be an affiliate link or anything like that, it'll be a direct link. So it's the 8603180. So this tells you what it is, then I think the second one tells you what the coating is or the component handles. You get chrome finishes and things like that. We'll go over that. And then generally the last one is in millimeters, the size. So this happens to be the 180mm, which I think is around 7 inches, but we'll go over that. So before I open this, why would you need what these are, which are the, well, they're called the Knipex Pliers Wrench. So you can look at that little picture there. Now, what on earth is a pliers wrench? So let's go back to basics here. So in the olden days when young TrailTrek was just a wee lad, you generally would find, I mean, you can get a normal spanner, but this happens to be an adjustable spanner. So an adjustable spanner means you're not having to carry around loads. You lose a bit of that quality, but it does the job, especially for small things. Now, they can be a little bit annoying. This one isn't particularly well built. Look, as you can see, we'll have a close look there. That's ridiculous. I mean, that looks like that was molded out of a toad's back or something. It's horrific. God knows what they've had that in, some weird sand or something when they've forged it. There's a load of slop. Look, up and down. I mean, that's ridiculous. That's more wobbly than a 3-year-old's tooth. It's ridiculous. These are flat, and it does keep them flat, and it is adjustable all the way up. So it'll do the job basically, but you get a bit of pull off and stuff. It's not the best. So if you're looking for something better, what you could do is you could go to something like this. Now I have got the full review of this, so I'm not going to put a link. In fact, I'll put the link down below. This is the Barco. This is the 9029, I think. Yeah, 9029. And it's the extra wide with the flat sort of thing. Now I used this on a load of machinery, and I used it on some radiators. Now I got some paint on. I think I got rid of it. Yeah. No, it's still there a bit. I marked them a little bit, and this one opens way wide. It's much better quality. There is a little bit of slop. Look, see a tiny little amount. Watch there, very small, even on the worm gear or whatever you choose to call that. There, tiny little bit. Much better fit and finish. Beautiful to use. Nice anti-slip handle, burnished metal, and again you can change the jaws, and it goes all the way up to, I think it's 33mm or something like that. And then all the way down. So really nice. I've used these and enjoyed them a lot. This is actually, I think this is the smallest to do. They do it way up there, so you don't have to use cheetah bars and things like that. So there's your other option. Now, what would happen if you crossed an adjustable wrench like this with a pair of pliers? So here's some Knipex pliers. These happen to be the VD ones, the 1000 volts, I think, and these are the standard ones. So what would happen if you crossed that with that? Well, what you end up with is, and no, the answer isn't a Cobra, which I'll show you in a moment. It's similar, but you end up with this. So this is the Knipex 860318. And you can see it on the handle there. This has the, I mean, I don't know if they call it that now, and I presume they don't do it the same way. We used to call these plastic dips. So, because it looks like you've dipped that in some thick plastic, and then it's tried to drip a little bit like when you do candle making. They probably don't do it like that anymore, but that's what you get. You get a nice smooth handle, and it's because it's smooth, it means it's easier to clean when you get garbage all over it. It's slightly harder with the component handles, even though the component handles are nicer to use because the hot spot ends up larger, so pressure put out on a larger space tends to give you less blisters, I find, over time. But this is perfectly acceptable. So you can get these in 125, 150, 180, which that's what this one is. This is the 180 version. You can get it in 250 and all the way up to 300mm. So you can get really massive ones. I think I've seen the XL ones, which are just ludicrous. You can get them in the Cobras as well. It just ends up ridiculous size. But if you need that, then you need that. So these happen to be chrome plated. You can get, I think they call it a traumatized or something, which basically like burnished. So it's like this sort of setup, or similar to on the Barco here, this black here. I mean, that comes off, that highlights and comes off with time, but it just gives you a little bit of extra protection. But personally, I tend to oil my tools. If you've got them in especially wet or high humidity, they're not going to last 5 minutes. I'm quite lucky where I live. Yeah, it's damp in this country, but it's not hot and damp. You know, some of the southern states in America, it must be a nightmare keeping rust off stuff, so I feel sorry for you guys. So it's just one of the options. But chrome, now generally chrome lasts longer and it is harder wearing, but sometimes you can lose a bit of grip. But grip isn't what these are about. It is in this instance where you don't want rotational grip, but with this, the pin set is kept parallel at all times because of this camming action. So if you watched, that mat is always parallel, no matter what setting. See how it's always parallel. And what that means is you're not going to damage the nut really. If you use something like this, which I have done on nuts which have really annoyed me, you end up with massive grooves in them. It does the job. I mean, this is so sharp, watch, and well made. That is so precisely ground, that watch. Let's find a hair, right? See that? I'll just show you. See that hair there? I'm doing this through a viewfinder. Right, watch. If I can get it. There it is. There, see that? You can pull hairs out like a tweezer. If I can get it focused, there you go. See? So they're very, very well made. Same with these. Fit and finish is superb. So like I say, handles, you can get the multi-component. I like the multi-component. These are examples of multi-component here. It's not a necessity. It just makes them a little bit wider and softer. And if you're doing stuff for any period of time, it tends, for me anyway, it tends to give you less blisters. But the way around that is you just wear a pair of mechanics gloves, so it doesn't really matter. So they are claiming that the lever transmission is greater than 10 to 1 on this. So in other words, as we all know, the old saying, give me a lever long enough and I'll lift the world. Basically, it's the transmission of force through mechanical advantage. So what you're doing is you're using a lever to get more force. And they're saying, so for every one you put in, you're getting around 10-ish out. Yeah, okay, true. And it gives you enough grip to do the job. What I like about these is, and what you don't get with an adjustable is, with an adjustable, I have no problems with them and I use them. So you imagine that's your fastener. So you go like this, like that. And then you start a job. What you can do is when you cinch that up like that, you can do that, quickly do something else or get a flashlight or whatever and come back to it. You can't do that with this, but I'll show you why. So if I had that on there, as soon as I let go, watch, as soon as I let go, it falls off. Now you probably think, well, okay, that's better than an adjustable wrench is better. Not necessarily, because you can let off and let down. So if you imagine you're trying to, you've got a bolt here or a piece of pipe, you can do that. See how you can do the job, let off, job, let off, job. So you can force, let off, force, let off. You can get the job done much quicker. Whereas with this, I've found myself where you do that and you go right, and then you go, oh, I've run out of clearance, right? Take that off, right? Get it round there again, right? Poof, right? Now get a bit more. Oh, now I've run out of clearance again, right? Take that off a bit, right? Now put it. So with this, you save a hell of a lot of time, even though you can't do anything one-handed. If you let go and you go, oh, I'll just go and get a bit of my sandwich, bang, it goes falling down a ladder or something. So each has its advantages. With this, it's speed, and the lever's actually quite long from this sort of point here to there. That's actually quite long. So you do get quite a bit of force. It will cinch down nicely. It reminds me of the Cobras, where if you cinch down with these, nothing's coming out. I've pulled nails out of concrete and stuff with this. Brilliant. And basically, I mean, this design here, it reminds me of the old, they used to call them water pump, or I think it was, channel lock used to be what they were called, because I'm pretty sure channel lock invented them. And when they say channel lock, it's these channels and it will lock. The design's changed over time, and especially the Knipex, they've made changes there. But it's a brilliant design because you can instantly, like that, you can make an adjustment, bang. And if you want to know what size you're using, this just happens to be the metric on here. So you've got 10, 13, 16. This is in mil. I think it goes up to, is it 30 or 40? Yeah, 40. So can you see on that triangle, that tells you where you're at. So 37, 40. So 40. And in regards to the Imperial, so for the American people watching this, I know you like this, you tend to see this. So you've got 3/8, 5 4,000th or whatever, or 3/4, 1, 1.5. So whatever, in fact, there it tells you. Look, so if you have a look there, so you've got nut size. So you've got 40 mil, or if you're looking at the American or the Imperial, it is 1.5 inches there. So pretty decent. I mean, that's going to cover most stuff, and if it doesn't, you go and get the bigger size, because like I say, this goes from 125 all the way up to 300 mils, and this happens to be the 180. So we need to give this a mark, don't we? So like I say, I just want, I know this is probably way longer than it needs to be, but I just wanted to explain that you have a wrench, then you have an adjustable wrench, then you have nice, extra wide, lovely adjustable wrenches. Then if you combine that with a plier, you end up with the plier wrench. And the wrench, because it has these parallel sort of teeth, rather than this sort of setup where it looks like some sort of mad parrot that's about to eat something. So it depends what you need. This is more of a brute force thing, and it does work. I've used this on multiple things. In fact, I'm surprised on the wear on that. I mean, I shouldn't be talking about that. That's not what this review's about. So in regards to the 8603180, I'm very happy with it so far. In fact, I've just been out the garden there. Lee was here and we were having a look at some stuff in the fence. We're just having some fun with an impact driver there, and we're having a look at this because he's been doing some fitting in a camper van. He's been refitting that out, and he uses a lot of different tools. So he was looking at this and he said this might be something that he'd be interested in, and it's certainly something I need and will be using. Like I say, I've got loads of wrenches, I've got loads of adjustable wrenches, but this is just a real time saver. And to carry a small version like this, it gives me lots of immediate options to use, and I'm really happy about that. And the chrome finish is beautiful, and when they're chrome finished like this, it means I spend less time getting the ballast all out and rubbing them down, and then it all smells like aniseed and things like that. You don't have to do that, but I like to do that because if you don't, tools just over time the knack, especially the cheaper ones. I don't suppose that would be the case with the Knipex, but anyway, there you go. And these are genuinely, there you go, made in Germany. So you'll find a lot of manufacturers where you think, right, this is definitely made in Germany, and you look in the small print and it's not made in Germany. So on the box there, made in Germany, on the handle, made in Germany, and on the item itself there, it says made in Germany. So love it, really nice, does the job. And I'll show you some close-ups here. I did a shorts video where you can see the workings of it. I'll give you a nice close-up there. Look at that, beautiful. And then we'll show you the heads, nice and up close. There you go. Beautiful and smooth there, really smooth. No folds, no burrs, very well made. Beautiful fit and finish, really smooth action, nice. And that clicks in. I haven't had that click out by accident. So beautiful. So well done, Knipex. I'm going to give this a 9 for what it does. I really like it. 9, perfect. Could it get higher? Well, I mean, if they weren't charging 50 quid for it, yeah, it certainly would be higher. But the problem is, if you want a good tool, you've got to pay for it. And what that means is you're not running back to the dollar store saying, "Can I have another one of them crap screwdrivers? Can I have another one of them crap bits that falls to bits?" You're wasting your time. Get something decent, and by all means, you don't have to get Knipex. There are other things. You might want to look at Godot. Milwaukee makes some nice stuff. Snap-on if you've got the money. Who else has that? There's loads of different companies. If there's one who you think, well, I've got one that's just as good, made by Channel Lock or Irwin or whoever, stick it in the comments. And the reason I want you to do that is because you help everyone, we help each other, and you say, well, I can't afford that, that's 50 quid, that's ridiculous, but I can get something almost the same from Irwin or Vice Grip or whoever. And as long as someone's used it and they can vouch for it and say it's good, so from a real user who's used it, so please stick that down, it helps everybody out. So there you go, 9 out of 10, well done Knipex, a beautiful piece of kit, very happy with it. Anyway, I'm off, goodbye.